Okay, so, everybody knows Ducks Unlimited, right? I mean, they protect wetlands and all that good stuff. But, well, today we're diving into something a little bit different.
It's definitely a little spicier than your usual Ducks Unlimited fare.
Right. So we got our hands on some leaked excerpts from this document. I guess it was just called newtextdocument.txt.
Yeah.
I mean, real cloak and dagger stuff.
Right.
And we also got to sit down with the president of Ducks Unlimited, Dan White.
Yeah, and all this is about this secret project, this Operation Chernobyl, which I gotta say, that's a pretty loaded name.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Not what you expect from a conservation group. So what do we actually know about this Operation Chernobyl?
Well, details are pretty scarce.
Yeah.
We know there's this document kept under super tight wraps that supposedly outlines the whole project, but hardly anybody has access to it. And after some stuff leaked out, maybe through a podcast or something, well, they really clamped down. Security got way tighter. Apparently, White launched a full-on internal investigation, and now they're only talking about it face to face.
So they're not messing around. But why so secretive? What could be so sensitive that they're going through all of this trouble?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
It brings us to this guy, Ross. He used to be part of Ducks Unlimited, but he's kind of a central figure in all this.
Right.
He's the one who seems to have leaked the information,
Uh-huh.
and he's been pretty vocal about Dan White's leadership.
What?
He's basically saying that White's running the whole show, becoming a little too autocratic.
So he thinks that this whole Operation Chernobyl thing, it's Dan White, like, pulling something shady.
Yeah, he's hinted at it. He suggests that White might be trying to consolidate his power or that there could be some financial irregularities going on.
Okay, so this could be about, like, money, like a cover-up.
Well, think about it. Nonprofits like Ducks Unlimited, they depend on public trust, donations, all that.
Right.
If there's even a suspicion of financial funny business, it can lead to investigations, donors pulling out. It could really hurt their ability to actually do conservation work.
So Ross could be a whistleblower, trying to expose something bad. But is there a chance he's exaggerating? Maybe he has some kind of personal grudge against Dan White.
Oh, totally. That's always a possibility. We have to remember that right now, Ross's claims are just accusations, and we haven't seen any hard proof.
Right, okay. But then there's this whole thing with Libby Blake. She's supposed to be guarding some key document connected to Operation Chernobyl, and White insisted they only talk through secure channels. I mean, he emphasized confidentiality like crazy.
Yeah, it adds to the mystery for sure. The lengths they're going to hide this information, it really makes you think that Operation Chernobyl could have huge consequences. It could impact the entire future of the organization.
So we got the chance to interview Dan White for this deep dive, and honestly, he came across as a genuine, nice guy. He's really passionate about the outdoors, really wants young people to get into hunting and fishing. But when we asked about Operation Chernobyl and the accusations, he just shut it down.
Flat out denied everything. He said it was all made up by Ross, called him a disgruntled former member out for revenge.
Which, I mean, that's a pretty typical response when these sorts of things come out. But, if Ross was truly just bitter, wouldn't he be, like, going on every news channel, yelling it from the rooftops? He seems to be picking his words very carefully.
Huh. That's a really good point. That does add a whole other twist to the situation.
So where does this leave us? Is this a case of whistleblowing, some kind of internal power struggle, or something else we haven't even considered?
It's like a real-life detective story. You have these two completely opposite sides of the story. Ross says there's wrongdoing. White denies everything.
Exactly. And without more information, it's really hard to say what Operation Chernobyl really is.
Right. We just don't have the whole picture yet.
So what do you think? Ducks Unlimited, a potential scandal, a secret initiative with a pretty intense name, accusations flying around, denials.
Yeah.
What's the motivation behind it all? And how do you think this is going to play out? What are the possible outcomes?
Yeah.
I mean, could this have an impact that reaches further than just Ducks Unlimited? Could this affect conservation efforts in general, or even public trust in nonprofits? There's still so many unanswered questions. This is a story we're going to keep following closely as it unfolds.
Kinda.
Stay tuned for more updates, and thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Thanks for listening.